What's up, everybody? Another episode of the J&J Show. You have myself, Joe Rotunda, assistant matchmaker for main events. Jolene and Joe, head matchmaker for main events and former NABF matchmaker of the year. Behind the scenes, we have Anthony Haynes. He's our millennial producer. Alexis Swollivan, she's our creative director. Today's guest is nobody. Everybody's out fucking looting and shit. So it's going to be me and Jolene. We're going to talk about what's going on currently in the sport, some old fight-related stories. We're going to fuck shit up.
Let you get to know us.
All right, let's jump in. What's quarantine? What are you doing?
Oh my God, I've redone everything in my house. I put up wallpaper, I redone floors, I cleaned closets, and then just doing this fucking podcast, and then just keep on looking for opponents that you can't even make fucking fights for.
Right. Are you watching old fights? Because I know like ESPN and all of them are airing old fights. People are acting like they've never seen it before.
No, I'm not.
I'm not either.
Gonna lie. I know.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Are you?
Oh, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm seeing it, great fights. I'm not even trying to make time for it.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the Top Rank fight next week, the live fight.
Live shit. Yeah.
You know, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But no, I think because I'm so angry that this is happening, I don't want to like look at it. The only thing that I watched since the quarantine is the Showtime one when they showed Corrales and oh my God, it just went out of my head. Fuck.
Castillo.
Right. That's the only fight I watched since this quarantine.
Did you watch the UFC?
No. And we're not talking UFC. This is about boxing. So stop.
It was fucking crazy, but all right. What let's jump in. What's one of the worst fight weeks you've ever been involved in?
There's so well. That's easy. Lewis Tyson.
That's Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis for people that don't follow boxing yet.
It was It was 2 weeks of a nightmare. Literally I'll tell you one story from it. So Mike Tyson and Lennox, me and Dennis, who worked for main events at the time, were in Memphis. Mike Tyson arrives first. Then Lennox was arriving on the plane. You know, they both flew in. Lennox arrives. Before Lennox arrived, we found out that Mike Tyson's house, because they rented houses, and Lennox Lewis's house were next to each other.
For fight week.
So we had to scramble, put them all in a hotel, meanwhile find another house for them. A fucking nightmare. The stories I could tell you, we had people staying in Memphis and Mississippi because it's only like a half hour away. So people staying in Mississippi in the casinos. And then we were staying in Memphis. Credentials got stolen. It was a nightmare. People were hoarding tickets. I can't even explain it.
Who was promoting Tyson at the time? It wasn't King still, was it?
No. I don't, from what I can recall, he really didn't have a promoter. It was just Shelly Finkel, his manager. And I think Showtime more was like, you know, because it was Showtime and HBO involved.
Right.
So that's one of my worst. What's your worst? I think I know it. Let's see.
It's hard. Sergey Kovalev, Andre Ward 2 was terrible.
Oh,
that was awful. That was more than Kovalev versus Ward. I felt it was like main events versus Rock Nation. It was this battle internally. Everyone was fighting throughout the whole promotion all those months. And you remember fight night? It was fucking awful. I was running back of the house. Rock Nation was supposed to send someone to help back of the house so we could ship fighters to the ring, get everything going. No one fucking showed up.
Mm-hmm.
They did send some guy.
Screaming.
They sent some guy. He showed up with like a toothpick in his mouth
and sunglasses and like a tuxedo.
Right out of Jersey Shore. It was fucking. It was awful. And by the end of the night, we were fucking exhausted. Sergey lost. And then I met you at like a sports book after the fight, and we just drank.
We were in the corner of Mandalay.
We hid from everyone. We were like, "Fuck this shit. Fuck boxing."
We hated it.
Yeah, that was awful.
That's when I got in the fight with John Pascal.
And everyone else. There were a lot of fights.
Yeah, there was. That is.
Yeah, we got schmammered, and then Vegas just took over our life. It was
Yes.
terrible. That was awful. What about favorite fighters? You have favorite fighters, or you're kind of over that? Being in it so long.
I have favorite fighters. You know, I hate to single. Look, Arturo Gatti was one of my favorites because of the relationship. Look, inside and outside of the ring, he was great. I was also a huge Tito Trinidad fan. I liked his style. I remember meeting him when I first started in boxing. I was in Puerto Rico with Kermit Cintron. And he was like on the top of his game, Tito, at that point. And he was the most regular guy I've ever met, fighter-wise, boxer-wise, and just opened his arms to us. And I was like a fan of his. I didn't tell him. I mean, I hit it, but, you know, him. And I also was, if you want to go back, Hagler, Miguel Cotto. So you kind of know the style I like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no. I grew up in the wrong end of the Tyson era. But yeah, I'm a diehard Tyson guy to the core.
Right.
But like I grew up like in our prime, we were watching Tyson fight fucking Clifford Etienne. Which like he did his thing, you know, poor guy broke his back that night, but he fought Clifford Etienne, and then like the Savarese fight and Kevin McBride, and you know the wrong end of it.
Botha too, right?
Botha and fucking Lennox Lewis, and so yeah, diehard Tyson guy, man. Me and all my friends, we used to.
Who else?
I like, you know who I like that doesn't get enough mention. People might disagree. No. Fucking Sugar Ray Leonard doesn't get enough mention when people talk about. Like,
he's a GOAT.
But yeah, he definitely go. But people, you know, talk about Tyson. They'll jump. You know, they jump the gun. They don't. Sugar Ray was a fucking animal.
Oh, he was absolutely.
Complete animal.
Because I know that you like Luis Ortiz and
dude, he's the boogeyman.
And
Luis Ortiz. Who's jumping up to fight fucking Luis Ortiz?
You like the Cuban fighters.
I like fighters that nobody wants to fight. No one's ever calling out Lara. No one's ever calling out Luis Ortiz before the fucking PEDs. Like, even when Luis was fucking natural, just, I guess, in the gym doing jump rope. Like, before.
Was he ever natural?
Probably not, but whatever. Okay. But Luis he's a fucking animal, man, and he's a big guy. He could box. No one's ever calling him out. No one's ever calling fucking Lara out. I don't know. Fuck them all, man. They're not fighting anyone.
Because it's high risk, low reward.
Yeah, I agree. That's why when Wilder fought Ortiz the first time, I was like, this is fucking crazy because he's got power. He can box. He's got 4 Twitter followers. Like, no following. Like, it was a fucking high risk, man. And look what he did. He went in and he beat Wilder, you know, most of that fight. And then Wilder was like, all right, hold my beer. Yeah.
Yeah, lights out.
Motherfucker. All right, let's talk about today's landscape. Wilder Fury 3. If you didn't give a prediction already, you might have in previous episodes. Who do you got?
Gotta go with Fury. I don't think Wilder's head is gonna ever be back.
Agreed.
It was a bad beating. That's the thing. He didn't get starched in the first or second round. He got beat.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to come back from, you know?
Vasily Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez.
Lomachenko. I don't like that fight. I don't like it.
I like it.
I don't like it. I think Lomachenko and Lopez are in 2 different universes. And not taking anything away from Lopez, because I think he could be big for the sport. That's why I don't like it, because why knock off somebody who could be big for the sport?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I get that. There's good and bad sides to it. Like, I get that point. On the flip side, I'm like, this kid wants to be the best and fight the best. He's like, the way he's rolling the dice, fuck it, man. Like, I'm in. I still think he loses, but I'm in.
I'm not mad at him. That's what fighters are supposed to do. But there's other people around that should be saying, let's just, you know, if he's there, if Lomachenko's there, he's there. He's not like, I think Lopez is a promoter's dream. I'm sure he is a pain in the ass.
Right.
Promoters' dreams are pains in the asses.
Right.
It's true.
All right, so we're going Lopez. All right, Joshua Wilder. If that fight happens right now, no one's undefeated anymore.
You know what? The great thing is both of their minds are fucked up. You know?
Yeah.
So now going into it, I think personally, it's even more even. I edge Wilder because of that one punch power. Not saying Joshua doesn't have it, but I edge Wilder. Where before Wilder went through with Fury, I had Wilder beating Joshua every day of the week.
Right, yeah.
So I edge Wilder, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I edge Wilder. He's got that. They both have power, but Wilder's got that eraser.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he fucking lands flush.
I think it's going to be interesting with Joshua to see if he ever, and I know what's going on with this corona and whatever, but I don't think Joshua will ever again in this lifetime fight in the United States.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's gonna.
Right.
I think it was
yeah, no, it makes sense.
Experience, and he doesn't have to.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have to.
Now's even more of a reason not to, but he doesn't have to.
Right. All right. Actually, fuck it. I'm going Joshua. All right. What if Mayweather-Pacquiao
You have
fight?
to change your fucking opinion.
Well, halfway through, I'm digesting it, and I'm like, fuck, man. I think maybe, I think you're right. I think Fury might have fucked Wilder up so bad mentally. I don't think, even though Joshua may never fight in America, that's probably true. There's a chance Wilder never fights the same. As far as the game plans and what he does in the ring, they might have fucked his whole ring IQ up. The way Fury just manhandled him.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going Joshua. Mayweather-Pacquiao 2. Yeah, 2. If it happens. Not into it.
Like
no prediction.
No, I don't like it. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Let the young guys get the spotlight.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Stop. Mayweather is one of the best out there and has done so much. Same thing with Pacquiao. Let one of the young guys get your crown if you're going to fight. But I get it. It's about the money. I understand that. But me, as a fan, I don't really care to see it. No.
Right.
So if I don't care about it, I don't have a prediction. What's yours?
I'm a sucker. Like, I'm a sucker. Like, if you right now, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. They put a countdown show out for the show. I watch it. I'm gonna be fucking tuned in. Like, I'm in. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
for the countdown.
I do. I'm a sucker for the countdown. They get me. I'm like, holy shit, this fight is. Like,
right.
I fall for that shit.
Right.
So I got it. Pacquiao first round KO. All right. Was there?
All right. That was a little much.
All right. Second round.
Okay. Go ahead.
Was there a time you just wanted to quit and say fuck it?
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. I would love to work at fucking Walgreens, and my biggest problem is something doesn't scan right or something doesn't scan on sale.
Right.
Think about the issues that we deal with on a daily. Like, I can begin to, and you too, to tell our friends or family what it is that we do, because you can't even explain it. It's just drama, but there was a time where I was going to quit. I went into Kathy's and said, I'm done. And that's when she hired Gary Shaw, and he was running the company.
Oh, so you were out. You were like 1 foot out the
I
door.
was ready to go. I was like, fuck this. And Kathy's like, just hang in there, I promise. And blah, 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 blah. I said, I will for you, but I'm fucking, I can't take it anymore. I went into her office and told her that.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever... Yeah, I thought about quitting, actually. Like, my first show, Kovalev, Pascal, Canada, was horrible.
I thought you were going to say that was your worst fight week.
It might have been. It was awful. Sergey was kind of mad at me. I fucked something up. So the champ's mad at the new guy. I felt so lonely. All week, I was driving these fighters around, fucking getting them from the airport. Innerbox, who was around at the time, wouldn't help me. They were like instructed not to help new guys.
And you had to get stuff sewn on Sergey's trunks 5 times.
So fighters want patches sewn on their shit, and I took charge of that, and they were sewn on wrong probably, and we had to get it re-sewed. And then after the fight, all I wanted to do was fucking take it in and party. and then some fucking guy shows up, some big shot in Canada, and was like, I run a steakhouse in Canada, and it's the best steak you'll ever have. And then Sergey and the team wanted to go get steak. I had to drive home. I had all my friends wait for me at the bar, dropped them off at the steakhouse, and I was in the car. I was fucking living, man. I was like, oh, fuck, man. I was hungry. I wanted a steak.
That was your first show that you actually were in your new position.
Right.
And
yep.
I threw you in with the fucking wolves.
And then to top it off, the show's over. We partied a little bit after this fucking guy served the worst steak ever. And we, the next day I never filled the tank, and me, you, and Kathy are ready to drive home, and our tank is on E. And Kathy says something along the lines of like, if we run out of gas, you're fired. I'm like, fuck. Like the whole week sucked.
And we were driving and there was no gas station.
Yeah, everyone was mad at me all week. I left one of our fighters at a gym, never picked him up because I had to go deal with some other shit going on, and he was a heavyweight. I thought he was going to fuck me up. It was Glasgow. It was horrible. It's the worst fucking thing ever. I just wanted to go back to America.
You know what? That's when the night of the show, when Sergey was fighting Pascal, and you called me before I'm getting ready to go to the arena.
Yeah.
Can I come up and talk to you? I'm like, the fuck, dude? We got a show. I'm like, okay. You come up to my room, and you're like, Sergey hates me. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He almost beat me up in the lobby. I can't drive him to the fight. I can't drive him to the fight. I'm like, all right, I get somebody else. You're like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm like, oh my God, we're in fucking high school. And then remember, after the fight, Sergey has a thing about getting his gloves, his fight gloves. So we're getting in the elevator, and I had his fight gloves in my hand, and I gave you the fight gloves, and I pulled him into the elevator with just me and you and him. And I said, Sergey, those are your fight gloves. He said, oh, and he wanted them. I said, nope, you have to say you're sorry to Joe first before you can get your fight gloves. You wanted to fucking die.
Yeah, I wanted to hit the escape on the elevator. I don't know if there was an eject button. I was fucking looking for it.
And he was like,
but he did. He goes, sorry, Joe. Yeah, I was like, all right, I forgive you. Yeah. All right, what do you think needs to be changed in the industry?
What I want in the industry is we need a mid-level boxing. We need ESPN Friday Night Fights back. USA fights, those type of fights. Even for that matter, HBO After Dark. Like, those are the fights and the fighters we're missing in boxing. There's so many talented fighters out there that people don't get to see. If you think how many people were created off of ESPN, USA, and After Dark, it's fucking insane. Like, that's what I think boxing needs. And where you just put on great matches. You know?
Yeah, it's one of fucking many things that need to change. I think my biggest thing is there's need to be stricter guidelines on how guys are awarded title shots. Like, look at like someone like Adrian Broner. My number's probably off, but it's up there. He's like a 7-time world champion. But between the two of us who are boxing people, maybe we can name 2 notable wins he has. There's no reason why this guy is going to go into the Hall of Fame one day as like a fucking 4, 5, 6-time world champion. And he has
and then he's compared to he's on the same level in a sense, but he's not as guys like Pernell Whitaker.
He's going to have a plaque next to fucking Muhammad Ali in the Hall of Fame with no credible wins.
Right. As like a 6-time, world champion. But no, that's a good point.
And it's not even just him. There's a lot of guys when I have fight parties, I have friends over. They're casuals. They dig the fights.
Right.
And when a guy walks to the fucking ring and he's got 9 belts, how do you explain to them, no, he's not the champion, or no, he's not that good?
Yeah.
When he's carrying every fucking belt made to man.
Yeah.
There's no way to explain it. So you just kind of like, yeah, he's nasty.
Yeah.
It's like, who wants to fucking deal with that?
You can't explain it. You're 100% right.
It's a mess. They need to I always said shut the sport down, which it is right now, and consolidate these governing bodies and create one title, simplify this shit. And I know you don't want to talk UFC, but they'd have the blueprint down. On you know what I'm saying? Like, there's one ranking. If you're in the top,
because they're not held to the Ali Act, and they're not. They're their own business.
Yeah.
When Dana Lorenzo started this, they said this is how it's going to be. If we get fighters to agree that all these belts aren't important, it's the fighters that make them important. If they said fuck it, it wouldn't be a problem, but they're not going to.
Yeah, no, they're not. And it, unfortunately, like, yeah, I don't know. It's never going to fucking change. It's a dream. But I think it'd be huge. It would be huge if they could find a way to simplify that. And just make this.
I think the way to do it is the fighters to stand up for it. That's the only way.
Which they won't.
Nah.
So it's a dead issue. All right.
Yeah.
What, who's one of the best managers you've ever worked with?
I have two. Pat Lynch and Agus Klimas.
They're both awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just, they get it. They're out for their fighters. They're protecting their fighters. But they also get the business aspect. So, you know.
What about some of the worst? You want to name any? There's a lot.
Oh, yeah, there is. There's one in particular that I don't dislike him, but I think he is his own worst enemy, is Louis Molina, Sullivan Brothers manager. You know, he thought the whole world was against him.
Right.
Still to this day, whether it was his or Sullivan's choice, they should have fought Sergey Kovalev 2 years ago.
Right.
You know, like.
I guess to Lewis's credit, that's almost like what's the best and worst thing about the sport is where I could do time, right? I could do 30 years in prison, get out this morning, go to a boxing gym, talk to a fighter and be like, can I manage you? He says, yes. Now I'm a boxing manager.
Yes.
Where in Major League Baseball and football, you can't just do that.
No, you can't.
There's rules, regulations, there's a paper trail. But like, no, I'm not saying Lewis is a fucking criminal.
No.
But he had no experience coming in, and maybe he's not qualified to do this in other major sports.
Yeah, yeah.
No?
It's true, and that's why a lot of managers that I've dealt with, whether good or bad, it's some of them just, like you said, go into a gym, talk to a fighter, and say, I'm their manager now.
Right.
So it's just crazy. Who's the best you dealt with?
But I don't know. Off the top of my head, I think Agus is great. I think Agus is great for reasons that you've noted. Like and I guess I've kind of experienced it too, making fights for some of his guys, is where you don't have to run back the opponent with him and really plead your case. Agus is like, he trusts you. If you think this is who's next for him, then it is what it is.
Right.
So I'll run with you on the Agus thing. And as far as people I don't like dealing with, I don't know. There's some booking agents who I'm like, fuck, man, you're with him. Like, it's not about they don't know what they're doing. And then managers do this too. If I fucking text you for a fight, is your guy interested in this fight? You get back to me, let me check, and fucking 4 days go by, and you're not responding to my texts or emails, anything. That's the shit I hate. Yeah. And managers do it, fighters do it. Like, you're getting my text because you got the first one.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's frustrating also, because and then it's, you know, you go to them and ask them, you know, if their fighter wants to fight, they don't reply, or they're playing games. Usually when they don't reply, and then you go to somebody else, and then all of a sudden they want to reply because they're pissed that you went to that somebody else. Well, fucking answer me. You know? Right.
But you got to keep, like, kind of good terms because you might need them for another fighter down the line. So you can't really unload on them. You know, you want to tell them how you feel, but you know you do. But they come back to you. Yeah, yeah.
I only do it to people that deserve it. I don't go around fucking cursing everybody out. You know, if you're going to act like an asshole, I'm going to treat you like an asshole.
Right.
I wish you would learn.
I guess it's just business. They come back.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's business.
All right, what about
I have a question for you. How is it for you to work in an all-woman office?
It's terrible. It's when I first started there, it was honestly, I interned under Matt. Matt's a guy.
Right.
And he was the best, and all these women were there. And even at first, it wasn't a big deal. Because after a while, I learned fast that, like, you guys all knew what you were doing. Whether it was Alexis knew what she was doing, makes the best posters in the industry.
Right.
Kathy obviously knows what she's doing, been in this shit since fucking the 60s, 70s. You knew what you were doing. Like, everyone had their credentials, so it wasn't like there was positions that were gifted because they were women. You know what I'm saying? Everyone knew what they were doing. There was procrastination wasn't a thing. We procrastinate. You know what I'm saying? Like, men procrastinate. That's what we do.
Right,
you know?
right.
So the whole women being heavily women in the office never really bothered me, never fazed me. It's literally we're main events. Fuck everyone else. No. But, you know, it never fazed me. I never thought twice about it. Everyone works hard. It's like a weird fucking family.
Well, you started off that it sucks, and then you just went into that you like it. I'm confused.
No, it didn't suck. No, that was a
so
joke.
you were playing around.
Yes, playing around. Yeah, no, it doesn't suck. Kathy, it doesn't suck. It's great. Everyone works hard. Everyone carries their weight.
What was your thoughts when I came to you the first time and I was like, all right, Joe, you're going to start matching fights?
So at that point, I think I had been there because it was kind of only a year or so ago, year and a half. I'd been there 6 years or so at the time. I never, ever thought about matching fights. Never crossed my mind, never something I cared about. I was still just happy doing what I did there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you fucking presented it to me, I was like, all right, fuck it. Like, it's something new. And that's when I started, like, heavily investing in our opponents list, which our opponents list is hands down the most stacked fucking list in the industry. I'll put that against anyone. It is. It's fucking deep. And some guys on it earn their fucking 50s, but whatever. They're active. It's deep.
Yeah.
And no, I kind of got like addicted to it. Like I love it. I know a lot of matchmakers say like it's fucking terrible, and it is. There are times where I've Googled like how do I kill myself without telling anyone. Like it's horrible. But I do love it because when you're saying, all right, Madiyar needs a fight. Madiyar Ashkeyev, he's an animal. Look him up. Madiyar needs a fight. I get pumped. So I'm like, holy shit, this could be a good fight. This could be a good fight. And I have my own little list, just like you do. And then I start reaching out, and I'm like, all right, well, Jamar doesn't want to fight. Alex doesn't want to fight. Donald doesn't want to fight. And then that's where it starts getting lonely, and you're like, fuck, man. Like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I jumped the gun, but.
I remember the first time that I told you, I forget what it was, like, all right, you're going to start, I'm going to teach you, you're going to start doing matches or whatever. And you were like, okay. And I was like, we need guys for, let's say it was Enriko Gogokhia, Madiyar Ashkeyev, and Cassius Chaney.
Right.
I told you during the day, that night, I got an email with about 50 different opponents for all these guys.
From me?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Right.
And I was like, holy shit, he's really into this. And I remember the first match you made. I don't know who it was for. I think it was for Marine, maybe.
It was Marine, and it was Jamar Freeman. Stud.
Okay, and you were like, I got Jamar Freeman. I was like, okay, good. Yeah, he's in. So a day passes. No, it wasn't Jamar Freeman.
Oh, you're talking about the first fight I never made.
Yes, the first fight you never made.
It was Leshawn Rodriguez, and it was this kid out in Texas. I forget his name, but through text, he was like, I want to fight. And I was like, this is fucking easy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why these
what
people are
Jolene's bitching about. So you were like, he's in, we're getting the contract tomorrow. I'm like, okay, tomorrow. Joe, where's the contract? Oh, well, he was at a funeral, so he couldn't send it. So he's going to send it, tonight. Okay, next day, Joe, where's the contract? Today is the final day. He's supposed to have it today. Okay, next day. Joe, where's the contract? And you put your head down and you went, he pulled out, he's not fighting. I said, until you get that contract, and even when you get the contract, it doesn't mean that it's still all good.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right. But I'm happy he pulled out when he did. Like it wasn't a long negotiation. Hey, we talked a couple minutes one night. He said he was in. 4 or 5 days later, he said he was out, and then I was able to learn, like, all right, got to get that fucking paper signed.
Yeah, this is how it works. That's great.
Yeah, but no, man, it's cool. I love it. It's fun.
Do. Somebody has to.
What who do you think you've learned most from in this business?
Kathy Duva, obviously. Russell Peltz and Carl Moretti.
Kathy, Russell, Carl.
Yeah, those are the
All
three that I've learned the most from. And what's great is they're such different personalities and people.
Right.
You know, like Russell Carl's a people pleaser. Kathy's a people pleaser. Russell could give two shits. You know, like I just learned a lot from all three of them, mostly Kathy, just as far as like, you know, when making a fight as a matchmaker, there has to be a story. You know, tell me why this fight is good. We went to NBC, you know, like, oh, they didn't know, and tell me why this fight was good. And I'd send them the reasons why this fight is good, and now they're pumped for it. Now they're excited, you know? So, and I learned that from Kathy, you know?
Right. Yeah. And Russell is just like a fucking boxing encyclopedia.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And
oh, my God.
About Russell, from the minute I started as a matchmaker, not that I wanted to be one at all, he always gave me that respect. And he always respected me like I knew what I was doing. And I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. No one sat there and taught me and said, okay, it's a 4-rounder. You're going to start with 1,500. And the most you have to spend is like with negotiating. Nobody taught me any of that.
Right.
You know, it's just through the years, just seeing, and with negotiating, you start to know people and how they work, how they negotiate. So you know what you could get and what you can't.
It's wild that like you didn't go to school for any of that shit, but you have like an MBA in negotiating.
Yeah. And that's just, look, and with negotiating, sometimes it's the worst part. You could say, you know what, go fuck yourself. Meanwhile, you're holding your breath because you don't want to tell them to go fucking, you're just, let them call back, you know? Sometimes you got to do it.
Right.
But, you know, it's a good feeling when, I believe with negotiating, everybody needs to be happy. Not just me.
Right.
Fighter. It has to be the both sides too.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be happy. That's a good negotiator. Not one side just gets what they want. That I think that's a horrible negotiator. Horrible.
Yeah, it's a bully.
Yeah. Exactly. That's somebody who doesn't know how to.
It's me.
Yeah. Who do you look up to in this business?
A lot of people. I look, you know, for different reasons. I mean, yourself and Burt Watson. I think you and Burt Watson are like what people should look at as far as like work ethic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like just go. And the thing also is like with you guys, there's no job too big or too small.
Mm-hmm.
Like if that chair needs to be picked up, you pick it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like Burt, you know Burt. Burt's a fucking animal. He's a maniac. I used to get big-headed too and be like, I'm the hardest worker in the world. And then I started working with Burt at Hard Rock, and I'm like, this guy is fucking twice my age, hustling, making us all look fucking, you know?
Yeah, there's not a call he didn't return.
He's incredible. Incredible.
He would help he would help in stuff even if it wasn't his job.
Right.
You know, like that's
and there's guys who carry like certain amount of passion too that I'm not gonna get in the UFC, but Dana White, like the passion he carries is motivated. Like how passionate he is about his brand, how he'll defend it, but if he has to fucking rip it, he'll rip it too.
Yeah, he's a realist. That's why I love Dana White. I think he's a people's person.
Right.
Relate to him. You know, whether you're rich, poor, white, black, purple, they just could relate to him because he's so real.
Right.
he's not a suit.
Like, it's similar to yourself and Burt Watson. It's
Yeah.
there's like a trait everyone carries, and they're just, some people just are cut from a different cloth than the rest of these dorks in the industry.
Yes.
These guys that show up in untailored suits and don't do shit. Yes. I fucking hate that.
No, it's true. It's true. I agree. Yeah. Okay, this is a personal question. So your wife, Diane, is a nurse and has been since this COVID thing started, has been working in the hospital, obviously. You've been doing daycare, you have 2 kids. When this first started and people were, it was scary. We talked plenty of times.
But
what were your thoughts like, okay, now my wife is going to go to the front lines. We have 2 small kids at home. What were your thoughts?
Di's a fucking animal. She works her ass off. I knew she would do the little things right, meaning like washing your hands, clean. You know what I'm saying? Like those things where it's easy to probably fall out of line and be like, oh fuck, I'm tired. Like just shower in the morning or some shit. Like, no, Di's an animal. I never doubted like the process. And I knew she wouldn't ever mention the words like, I don't want to do this, I'm going to quit. Like, that would never come out of her mouth. She's bigger than that. I mean, she's short.
Did you ever say to her, Di, if you don't want to do this, I understand, or that conversation?
No, I didn't, and I would understand, but we never even had that talk. She's not built like that.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
Real strong up here. Literally, she would go to work, and to this day, even though numbers are trickling down in Jersey,
right, it's still.
To this day, she comes home. We have the same process. She disinfects in this spot of the house, and like it's the same thing. We embrace this thing. People not embracing this thing, I think, are idiots. Like, even if it is a hoax, which I don't think it is.
No.
What do you have to lose by embracing it? Just wear your fucking mask and wash your hands and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And watch the J&J Show.
Yeah, but like a lot of people don't, the frontline workers, we applaud all of them, right? I mean, absolutely. But I think what people have to recognize too is the homes they live in and the families that they have. That, yes, she's going to the work all the time and dealing with people with coronavirus and everything. Now she's coming, like, it's like a team effort with you and her. And I don't think, that's why I like to hear from people that are within the situation, but not on the front line. Like, what were your thoughts? Like, you're not going back to fucking work, or do you?
I know people that, and you probably do too, that are not going back to work, that are in the medical field. It's scary. They didn't want to deal with it. They didn't want to put their family at risk, and that's their choice. They're not whatever they want. But no, we never crossed either of our minds.
No, that's good. That's good. What? All right, we're gonna get into one question that we have on our show at the end of every show, and that is, who in the industry, if you can, would you slap, punch, trip, or lock in a room? So I have 3 different people for different things. And I have reasons why. So I'm going to let you go first. You don't need 3 people. Name 1, 2, reasonings why. And again, we get into, sometimes people just need to be slapped. Sometimes they need to be tripped. A lot of people need to be locked in a room and throw away the key.
But, all right. Let's,
Did I put you on the spot?
You know more people that I hate than I do. I can't even fucking think. I guess let's throw the Rock Nation guy who showed up with a toothpick who didn't run back to the house when he was supposed to. Throw him in a fucking room.
I don't even know what his name was.
No, I don't either.
I don't know if he worked for Rock Nation. I think they just found somebody in the casino and said, go work the back.
Yeah, go find Joe.
Go find Joe and see what you could do.
Throw him. Whoever at Interbox told them not to help me that first fight week, let's fucking kick them around.
Oh, right.
I know who it was, but let's fucking kick them around. Fuck, and maybe let's slap around Adrian Broner. He's just fucking out of control, getting stupid.
Well, he's one of mine to lock in a room.
Yeah.
Because
and to give credit to Broner, I was a big Broner fan coming up. With Gavin Reese.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
the kid has issues.
Talent and issues.
You know, like he's just all over the place. He's, you know, he just needs to be locked in a room and think for a little bit.
Right.
He's just all, you know, one minute he's, you know, wants to kill himself. The next minute he won't fight for under $10 million. The next minute he wants to be a rap artist. Like he's all over the place.
Oh, and anyone who in the industry walks around in these untailored suits, man, go to a fucking tailor. Like, get out of the ring. Why are you in the ring in a suit? You look like an idiot. Like, they look sloppy. Mm-hmm. Oh, and the social media motherfuckers that are all over social media, like, oh, no one works harder than me. I'm grinding. Like,
oh my God, yes, yes.
Log off, and shut the fuck up.
Log off and do some work.
Yeah, do some work.
Busy. Why do you got to say it 24/7? Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so busy. The grind is real. Like, stop.
Yeah. All right, those people.
Yes, agreed. All right, so you group people together. I'm naming names. The person that I would punch is an easy one. And you might be surprised with this one. You're really waiting. Is Rick Glazer.
Oh, no. All right. I get the counter shot, too, because I don't know the guy personally. He's on Twitter, and all right, I don't. He's on Twitter, and he's hyping himself hard still, and he puts people down. That's my problem. He puts a lot of people down.
And I remember my reasoning for this is I remember I did a deal with him. He got a fighter for me because he's ultimately, whatever you want to call it, advisor, booking agent. And I don't remember the total details, but let's say the fighter was getting $5,000, right? And again, this isn't exact money because I can't remember. And let's say I was giving him 500. He turned around and he wanted more money. He wanted 2,000. And we're fighting back and forth, or it wasn't 2,000, maybe it was 1,000. Fighting back and forth, and you know, I'm hearing, oh, he's been in the business forever, and da-da-da. Why am I'm mean now? All of a sudden I become mean. I'm nasty. I'm a bitch. I'm all this. So he didn't say any of this to my face. He said it to other people. So finally I went back to him. I said, listen, I'm going to give you the $1,000, Rick, but these are the conditions. Don't ever fucking call me again. Lose my fucking number and you'll have your $1,000. Why do you got to be that way? I don't want that to happen. I said, look here's the deal. You want your 500, you get your 500. You want your 1,000, lose my fucking number. Because the deal is a deal is a deal.
Right.
Leave her in that. And that was the last time I talked to him. And then
yeah, you know what?
To go on Facebook or whatever, and he was saying shit about Arturo Gatti. You're done in my book. You're done. You didn't walk in his shoes. He wouldn't fucking know you if, God rest his soul, if he fucking tripped over you.
Right. Yeah. I've heard from a lot of credible people in the industry, not good shit about him.
Yeah. No, and he tells people, whoever will listen, that I'm nasty, I'm a bitch, I'm difficult to deal with. I'm difficult to deal with because you don't get your way with me. That's not difficult to deal with. That's a smart fucking businesswoman.
Right.
And then my slap, because he needs to be slapped because he is a fucking talent. And that's Gervonta Davis.
God, I have such high hopes for him. Yeah.
Me too. I love Gervonta Davis. I think he's such a great fighter. Great.
He is.
But he's on one of mine. He needs to be slapped because he needs to be taken down to reality because he's going to ruin his fucking career.
Sure.
Move out of Baltimore. and live in fucking anywhere else, Oklahoma, somewhere,
Yeah.
you know. But that's mine.
Those are good ones. No, but now that we're talking, like I throw Gary Russell in there too. Like I was a big Gary Russell fan for a while when he first came in. The guy can fight, but he just won't. Like the way that his inactivity, and he still gets to carry around all those fucking belts. It's like, what?
No, and
Doesn't even make sense.
He's a talent that you don't see.
Uh,
And a lot of people were in the beginning, don't forget, we're blaming it on Heyman. Let's blame Heyman. Blame Heyman. It wasn't Heyman necessarily.
Right. You can't blame Heyman when other Heyman fighters are active and continuously fighting the best in the world.
Right, right.
Yeah, at least look at Spence. Spence's lineup is going to be tough, and it's been tough. He went on the road for Kell Brook. The Porter fight, going to fight Garcia. Like, you can fight. You can be active.
Yeah, and look, Spence is, and I don't blame him, is Heyman's pride and joy. I mean, he's his best fight, besides or whatever, but he's one of the top guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're a big Gary Russell fan. I forgot about that.
Was.
No, you still are. You still are.
All right. Fuck
one of your best. Now, one more, and then we'll end it. Best road trip stories.
Oh, fucking Canada. Oh, did you say Russia?
No, I said best road trip stories.
Probably Russia. If that's considered a road
one or
trip.
Two.
I don't know. They're all mingled. They're all the same. The one, God, I mean,
the first Russia was torture.
Where we had a coworker who thought she was flying to Africa.
Right.
While we're at Newark Airport, and I thought I booked her a trip to Africa, and now I'm like, well, I'm fucking fired. Didn't even leave the States yet. And you had to chase her down and console her and be like, hey, you're going to Russia, you fuckhead. Yeah. This is, whatever. That's hard to get into, but yeah, a coworker thought I sent her to Africa. No.
And it said on the bottom of the ticket, if you're going to Africa, you have to go through Zone E for customs. That's all. Yeah. Thought she was going to Africa.
And then we got to Russia, and they fucking hid our fighters from us on fight night in a whole different building. We're in Russia.
God.
Have no idea where the fuck we are. It was awful. Awful. But the second trip.
Remember the one night because we didn't know the first time we went to Russia it was Sergey and Chilemba, right? Yeah. And
great fight.
We were outside because we're in separate hotels. We're outside my hotel and we're smoking hookah. Remember?
Yeah.
We just flew in from the States and we're just out there drinking and smoking hookah. And next thing you know, we look, it was 10:30 at night. It was light out.
The sun was up, yeah.
And we had no clue.
Oh, it was.
We were like, fuck, we gotta get to sleep. And then you thought I died.
Yep. That was a horrible trip. I thought you died. The sun never went down. It was never night there. It was a horrible, horrible trip. But the second trip to Russia, Kovalev Anthony Yard, was fucking bonkers. It was one of the best fight weeks I ever had. Partied hard. Went to a dry party in Russia, which I didn't even know that was a thing.
Dry.
No alcohol. And we fixed it fast. We found a bar, filled up a bunch of shit with vodka, went to the party, and just got weird.
And we were the only table just totally, the whole entire table was drunk. And in a big ballroom with just a bunch of sober people.
Yeah, there was a lot. We went to Canada once for a fight, Kovalev Pascal too. I forgot my passport halfway there in a snowstorm. That was awful. I rented a car on the way to Canada, got to the front, realized that we didn't have license plates. They weren't going to let us in.
The customs.
They weren't going to let us in. I had no good reason not to have a license plate. I just told them it's a rental, that's why there's no license plates. And then the guy was a boxing fan. He was a Kovalev fan, actually.
Yeah, he was. And I was like, he's like, what are you doing here? We're like, we're here for Kovalev Pascal. And he was like, I hate Pascal. And I was like, we're Sergey Kovalev's promoters. He's like, you are? Go ahead. Have fun. Yeah. There were no license plates.
Yeah, that was good. Those were good ones.
That was a good one. That was. All right, well, it's been real. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We just wanted to chop it up a little bit, let you get to know us without a guest. And we're going to do it again. We have plenty
Let us know who you like more. Let us know who you like better, Joe or Joe.
Jolene. Later.